when we talk about control and command of a game, RJ, I think we almost always, at least I feel this way, and correct me if I'm wrong, because you may have somebody in mind, but I feel like control and command, we think of perimeter players, we think of primary ball handlers, we think of the Chris Paul, we think of the LeBron, the Luka, James Harden, Jalen, Tyrese Halliburton at times, of course. Like, that's who we think of. And I feel like I was watching last night and I'm like, no, Jokic, like, he's the big that has complete control and command of the game. And it feels like it's like at all times. And last night was a perfect example of that. The guy goes for 40 points, double-digit assists, 0 turnovers. Just whether it's passing, scoring, he downloads whatever you're trying to do. And a lot of times he figures it out in real times, but you give him, 2-3 games to figure you out. Good luck.
And he's so much meaner than people give him credit for. He's so much meaner. Oh, you want to do this? Fine. I'll go score. Like he's so much meaner than people, and not in a disrespectful way, but in a way of like he's like psychotically trying to figure out how he's going to dominate, because he'll beat you with the pass, he'll beat you with the 3. Oh, you want me to just post up and go solo one-on-one? Because a lot of times that's what teams, he knows. You talk about great players figuring out, okay, well, we're going to stay at home. We're going to let him play a little one-on-one against Nas, against Rudy. We're going to limit our 2, stay down, don't put him on the free throw line. Well, he will go to work. If you told him just to be a post player and not like a post scorer and not a passer, he would still get you the same amount of points. But his ability to distribute and get other people involved in playing these games, these no looks that he's dropping off to dunks, he's faking the lob, throwing it out to wide open threes. You've played with Chris Paul. I play with Jason Kidd and LeBron. There are certain guys that just know how to manipulate the game to get everyone's shots. But he is special, in my opinion, just because the position in which he does it, there's always more freedom. Chris Paul's under pressure. There's guards under pressure. His pressure is kind of like, you don't want to apply too much. You don't want to apply too little. You're constantly doing a dance. And once you start dancing with him, he owns you.
I want to make a couple points on Rudy Gobert. Because I'm not going to do the full discourse and explanation right now, because no matter how many times I've fucking done it over the last 3 or 4 years, people want to point to these singular like games where it's like, oh, that's your defensive player of the year. I'm like, okay, yeah. So Jokic last night, he was 8 for 9 with Gobert as the primary defender. Going into that game last night, he was 11 for 28 with Gobert as the primary defender, including 4 for 13 in game 4. Jokic is, I think we can all agree, if he's not the best player in the world, he's certainly one of the 2 or 3 best players in the world. I'm not going to rank players right now. I think Jokic is the best player in the world, and I've said that consistently for the last year. All right. He's the best player in the world. He's going to can score against anybody. Also, did you see the moves and the shots he was making at times? Like, at some point, by the way, Rudy Gobert's like 7'3". At some point, you're like, oh no, like maybe just it's the offensive player is that good. And the whole point about him getting played off the floor, look, again, I said this after game 2 when we started talking about the weekend games last week on the Old Man on 3. Like, Denver had to figure out a way to get Gobert away from the basket. That's the challenge against the Minnesota Timberwolves. It was the challenge against the Utah Jazz. It's not an indictment on Rudy Gobert. It's fucking basketball. Sorry, I cussed again. Dang it. I'm sorry, DraftKings. You have a guy, like, think about this. You have it. Name a skill set. Name a skill set. This guy is elite at doing this. He's the best in the world at doing this. Let's try to take that away. Right? Yeah. That's called basketball. That is basketball strategy 101. Like, come on.
Well, and I don't understand. Oh, that's your defensive player of the year. Okay. Well, I'll tell you what. You line all 5 of them up. The top 5 candidates, Jokic would do the exact same thing to every single one of them. And he has multiple times over. we talk about that old Lakers team that won it in 2020 was the last time, in my opinion, that the Denver Nuggets were healthy. They had so many bigs, and they had LeBron, which people don't really count him, but at 6'9", 200 and whatever, he's another body on top of all the ones they had when they won the championship and they beat Denver in the conference finals. There is no stopping Jokic. There is no. That's why you don't get an MVP, because there's a game plan to stop you. You get MVP, and when you win 3 out of 4, that's because there is no game plan to stop you. We don't get to just talk trash about Rudy because he's had some prior, struggles in the post. I think Rudy has been outstanding. I think he's been, again, last night, 7 for 7, 11 rebounds. Again, guys banged up, no Conley. So when I look at Rudy Gobert, I think he has done enough. Collectively as a group, these last 3 games have been unique. But Rudy Gobert, we're not blaming Rudy for this. He's just going against the best offensive center in the league when you include scoring and playmaking. Shout out Joel Embiid from just scoring.
Why don't that, Joel? That's unnecessary.
I'm saying when I say just scoring, I mean, I'm not going to disrespect Joel Embiid. He is the best scoring big man in the league. I'm not disrespecting, but when we're talking about scoring and distributing, he's the best. That's why I said shout out the best scoring big, Joel.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I got you.